we're going to take a quick commercial break. Hey, my friend, are you ready to take your personal and professional life to the next level? Do you want to unlock your full potential and understand how to leverage your unique strengths? Imagine having a personalized roadmap to success tailored just for you. That's exactly what you get with a Start with Strengths debrief session. In just 90 minutes, we dive into your CliftonStrengths report, breaking down your top talents and translating them into actionable insights. During our time together, you'll discover how to interpret your CliftonStrengths results with clarity and confidence, use your strengths as a compass rose to navigate your life and your career, how to apply your strengths in real-life situations, whether it's at work, in your relationships, or on your personal growth journey, and create strategies that align with your natural talents. My clients often tell me that these sessions are a game changer. They leave feeling empowered, motivated, and ready to tackle their challenges with a newfound sense of purpose. Whether you're aiming to succeed as an entrepreneur, discover your true calling, or find fulfillment in your current career, understanding your strengths is key and should be your first or next best step. If you're ready, visit my website at www.sherrymiterco.com/services or click the link in the show notes to schedule your session now. Let's unlock your greatness together. And remember, your strengths are your greatest assets, my friend. So let's discover them, understand them, and use them as your compass to navigate the journey of work and life. Your fulfillment, purpose, success, freedom, and joy all start with strengths. Okay, my friends, let's get back to today's episode. One of the biggest misconceptions people have about CliftonStrengths and your strengths is thinking that because something is a strength, it's always helping you succeed. But the truth is, sometimes that very thing that does help you become successful can also get in your way. Welcome to the Discovering Your Calling podcast. I'm your host, Sherry Miter. I'm here to help you unleash your strengths and get clarity on your calling. I believe when you find your purpose in life, fulfillment, joy, and success will follow. If you're ready, pop in those earbuds, hit that follow button, and join me on this journey toward discovering your calling. Your top talent themes are like a toolkit, and you can pull from them whenever you need them, but it depends on the situation. Just like in a toolkit, sometimes you need a flathead screwdriver, sometimes you need a Phillips head screwdriver, sometimes you need a hammer. And it's the same thing with our talents. It's learning how and being aware of what talent themes are going to help you at any given time and which talent themes are going to get in the way. And depending on the situation, you want to learn when to lean into certain strengths to help you achieve a goal, lead more effectively, have a better conversation, or navigate a challenge with more energy and excellence. But here is the catch that we're going to talk about today. You also need to know when that same talent might need to be dialed down in certain situations. And that's what I call learning to dial up or dial down your strengths. And when I'm teaching this at a workshop or to my coaching clients, I like to have them picture a sound mixing board. And don't worry, if you don't have any musical talent, I don't either, so it's not required. But we've all seen them, right? We've seen those mixing boards. There's sometimes that the person doing the mixing, they need to crank up the bass a little bit. And then there's other times they need to tone down the bass and let the vocals shine. And basically, your strengths work the exact same way. There are moments when a talent theme becomes your greatest ally, and you want to dial it way up. But then there are other moments where that same strength, if overused or misapplied, can actually hold you back. And that's when you need to dial it down. This was actually a huge breakthrough moment for one of my Discovering Your Calling students when we talked about this in one of our small group cohorts. And I remember her actually stopping me mid-conversation, and she was like, oh my gosh, I never realized my strengths could also be the things slowing me down. I mean, she was ready to just stop right there. That was what her mic drop moment of learning was. And she didn't need to know anything else I had to say that day. It was actually kind of funny. But that awareness was huge for her. And I've seen that happen at my workshops as well. But here's the thing, and I hope you hear this as well as we go through this episode today, is that awareness does change everything. So let me give you a couple examples. For me, two of the talent themes that I see get in my way frequently, and they all do, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, but two of my big ones are maximizer and focus. And when I'm working on goals or creating something important, I have learned that I need to dial way up my focus because it helps me block out distractions and get things done. And I know if I block out this time to work on a project, I will complete it and it will be done well. And I've also learned that there are times that I need to dial down my maximizer when I'm working on a project. You know, my maximizer naturally wants things to be excellent. And I can see potential everywhere I look, and I want to keep improving and refining things. And that does help me create some amazing work. But if I'm not careful, I can fall into perfection mode and I keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, and I never get anything done. Or I always think, well, it can get better. And I keep keep working on it. It's even funny. Even my chat GPT will now tell me, now go do it. You're done. Like it has learned my maximizers getting in my way. And it's time to dial down my maximizer, dial up my focus, dial up my activator, and implement what I've been working on because it is good enough. Because perfection doesn't exist. It really doesn't. So sometimes I have to just remind myself done is better than perfect. And that applies specifically in business and doing my creative work. Learner is another one that's interesting for me because I love learning. I mean, I'm constantly buying books, listening to podcasts, taking courses, watching the videos, any of that, I am all in. And that strength has helped me tremendously as a coach, as a speaker, as a leader, as an entrepreneur. But there have also been times where I know I have stayed in learning mode way too long. And I keep consuming instead of implementing. And that's when I realize I need to dial down my learner a little bit and dial up my activator so that I actually move forward with what I either already knew or what I recently learned. And maybe you're relating to some of these. Maybe you can see yourself in this. And again, this is something that I talk a lot about in my coaching sessions and the workshops, because once people do understand this concept, not only do they have that huge aha moment like my one client did, but they start to see themselves and their talents completely different. In a recent workshop I was leading for a group of fire service leaders, we went really into depth in this because we were talking a lot about communication and stressful situations and team dynamics. And this is when that dial up, dial down concept can really be helpful because even in our conversations, there's times that we need to dial up certain talents and dial down other talents to have the best conversation. And it was actually pretty cool because we were able to create, my husband and I, we co-taught this. Well, he taught some of it in generational differences. That's a whole nother topic and conversation. But we were able to create, with the help of Gallup's new AI, some great resources and handouts that we gave them so that these leaders could turn around and have much more impactful conversations and be more insightful when they're working on their day-to-day work projects. And I heard over and over again that those resources were so helpful to them. So they could immediately see how a talent theme could be helpful in a situation and when it could be helpful and they needed to dial it up. And at other times, it was just going to make the conversation worse. It was going to get in their way and they needed to dial it down. So in a nutshell, you can think about it this way. Knowing your talents is step one. Learning how to intentionally use them is step two. And being aware of when to rein them in is step 3. So it's knowing them, it's learning how to intentionally use them, and it's being very aware of when they're going to help you and when to rein them in or dial them down. One of the other things I shared during that workshop is that every CliftonStrengths theme is neutral. And I want you to understand that. And I want to really emphasize that here. No theme is inherently good or bad, but it's all about how it's being used, the situation, your awareness level, your energy, and your maturity with that particular talent or strength. So again, no talent theme is good or bad. They're all neutral, but the situation, the timing, how you're showing up, it all matters. And I want to just kind of simply break this down, give you a few more examples based on domains, because I can't go through all 34 talent themes here. But I have a couple more real life examples for you, but also just a huge bucket look at the domains and how this shows up. So people strong in the executing domain are incredible at making things happen and driving results. That's when they need to dial things up. But if those strengths are overused, they may move too quickly. Those same people may resist change, and they might prioritize tasks over people. And when somebody with high executing domains sees that happening, it's time to dial down those talent themes and dial up something else. And I see this a lot with people with high responsibility. Responsibility is a very common theme, at least for the clients I work with, and especially in the fire service realm. And I'm married to somebody with high responsibility, so I see this every single day. And, at its best, people with high responsibility talent, it helps them create that trust that people sense in them. These are the people they follow through, they keep their word, they take ownership seriously. People with high responsibility are those people that we can count on. But when that talent theme or that strength gets overextended, it can become heavy for that person and the people around them. People with a strong responsibility can take on way too much. They struggle to delegate, and they have a really hard time saying no, or even feel guilty about things that were never theirs to carry in the first place. And sometimes the healthiest thing a person with high responsibility talent themes or strengths can learn is this: not everything is your responsibility. And if it feels like it is, that might be time to just dial that baby down a little. And again, I live with somebody with high responsibility, and I see this every day with my husband. Now, right now, it's kind of funny because he has a summer job. He's the dock master of the city of Troy's marina. It's a transient marina. So there's nobody staying there all the time, but a lot of boats coming through. There are boats that are going on around the Great Loop, and they're heading up the Hudson River. We live on the Hudson River. And of course, we love boats. He loves the city of Troy, and he can walk to work. We literally live across the bridge from the dock. And, it's the perfect summer job for him. But sometimes his responsibility doesn't do well seeing his work every day so up and close. Because even when he's off the clock, we might be going for a walk and he happens to look over and sees something, and he feels pulled to go over and find out, well, why is that boat there and it's not here? Or what are they doing over there? Or what's going on? And he always has this mental need to want to check in. Now, this year it's been great. He's got other employees who carry their weight and show up and do a great job. He's didn't have that last year, I will say. But even when it's technically not his responsibility in that moment, he feels very responsible to make sure everything's right. And there are often times that I have to remind him, you are not working right now. So dial down your responsibility. It's not your problem right now. And if he doesn't, it really starts to look like micromanaging sometimes. So maybe you can relate a little bit to that, to your high responsibility. And again, the theme's it's not right or wrong, it's neutral. but it's how it's being used and how it's helping you either succeed or feel overwhelmed that's getting in the way. Because we need people with high responsibility or the world would not run properly. But for those of you with high responsibility, sometimes it's a matter of just pausing and thinking, wait a minute, am I taking this on? Am I taking on something that's not even mine to own? And maybe I just need to dial down my responsibility and dial up something else. Maybe it's a relationship you need to work on instead of taking that responsibility over. Now, again, this shows up differently across all the domains, but it shows up for every single domain and every single talent theme. For example, people with strong influencing themes are great at taking charge and moving ideas forward. But if those talents aren't managed well, they can dominate conversations or unintentionally overpower quieter voices. That's when it needs to be dialed down. And somebody with high relationship building talent themes in that domain, those strengths often create incredible trust and emotional safety on teams. But sometimes high relationship building themes make us avoid hard conversations, or somebody might prioritize harmony over accountability. And that's when the relationship building needs to be dialed down a little bit in order to really build people up. And then the strategic thinking themes, the final domain that I'll mention here. Well, it's the final domain. There's 4 domains. People with high strategic thinking themes are amazing at seeing patterns, possibilities, and future opportunities. But sometimes they, and I'm raising my hand here, can overthink, delay action, or get so focused on the future that they miss what needs attention today. And I do see this in my futuristic. It's my number 1 talent theme. And I love to live in the future and visioneer the possibilities that lie ahead. That is definitely my superpower in doing that for myself and helping others see that and do that. But sometimes I'm so focused on tomorrow and the future that I struggle to stay present with what needs attention right now or what I need to do today. And that's something my husband reminds me of often. So again, awareness matters because once you begin intentionally using your strengths, whether it's dialing them up when needed or dialing them down when needed, your strengths really do become your guide. And they can be the best tool in that toolbox. They can help you communicate better. They can help you lead better, work better, build healthier relationships, and make more aligned decisions. And honestly, it makes life just feel a whole lot easier because you stop fighting against how you're naturally wired and start learning how to work with your natural talents and strengths instead. When you can learn how to do that, that's when success becomes easier and way more fun. So again, it's just about that awareness and being intentional. Is my strength going to help me in this conversation, in this situation today? Or is it going to hinder me and get in the way? And being intentional and being aware of when to dial it up or to dial it down. Now, if this is something that you would love to have a deeper conversation around, that's what we can do inside of the Start with Strengths sessions that I do. It's a Start with Strengths, CliftonStrengths debrief session. It's 90 minutes where we can talk about anything around your strengths. And in those conversations, we don't just talk about your top themes. We talk about how they show up in your real life, where they help you thrive, and where they might unintentionally be getting in your way. And this whole dial up, dial down concept is often one of the biggest breakthroughs people have during their strengths debrief session. So if you've been curious about your Clifton strengths, or you want to better understand how you're just uniquely wired, I'm opening up a limited number of Start with Strengths sessions this summer. Right now, if you're listening, it's June 2026, just to know that some things, depending on when you listen to this, might be over. But it's right now, summer of 2026 is just beginning, and I have 25 spots available. And those first 25 people this summer are also going to get $100 off their Start with Strengths session. You can find all the details in the show notes or head over to my website, sherrymiterco.com/start with strengths to learn what that session's all about and how you can get secure one of those first 25 spots. Because I would love to help you discover how your strengths meant to work for you, not against you. Thank you for spending this time with me. My hope is something you heard today inspires you to take action toward discovering your calling. I just have 2 favors to ask of you before you go. 1, if you found value and enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and you might hear your review read on a future episode. And 2, can you share this episode with 3 friends who will also enjoy it as much as you did? By doing these things, you will help us grow the podcast to make a bigger impact on the world. And until next week, remember, you've been created to live a life of fulfillment, freedom, purpose, success, and joy.